And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to EU League. It is Stage 2, Playday number 3, and we're live here in the year 2021 in a beautiful summer. Today, it's sunny, and it's nice, and it's comfortable to lay back and watch some Siege all together. We've got Tim here with us, and Jess, I love the coordination in shirts. I feel like an outsider in this one, not gonna lie. But it is time to have a chat about our game. By the way, hey, I'm Milos. I'm the guy that looks a bit different with the shirt versus the people I'm with on the desk here. I need to coordinate. I need to bring like multiple shirts with me every show. That aside, Secret versus Virtus.Pro. How about we chat about these two teams, starting off with a Team Secret. So I believe I've surprised at least a couple of you. I think that's a number we can work with pretty effectively. Team Secret with a change to their roster too, very specifically with Packbull and Keenan, bringing in more UK talent. They're playing pretty well so far.
I mean, some could say that might be why they're winning, Milosh, getting the UK Massive involved. But Team Secret, as you say, I think causing more than one or two surprises so far in this stage. They looked a little bit lost in Stage 1. I think it's fair to say they didn't really seem to have their own identity. They didn't know what they wanted to do. They've made a couple of changes. They've come in, and boy, have those changes worked so far. They've done fantastically well here in Stage 2. They are absolutely flying right now. Very dangerous team.
Well, a team on the other side that's had a rough day. 7-1, 7-1 is how they've lost so far. It's Virtus.Pro. We'll put them up on the screen. A team that a year and a bit ago we were talking about the European Open Clash being, wow, they're so good. They've had very much roller coaster of a ride. Up and down is the story so far, with WTG playing today and not Andrizi.
You were talking about the roller coaster up and down. I have a feeling the roller coaster has broken down completely as we've gotten into Stage 2.
Let's go.
It is 2 rounds over 2 games. That is abysmal. It doesn't matter your opponent. This is Tier 1 EUL gameplay, and those yellows, that, again, I've got to point it out, that's not a good thing. That is as low as you can almost go without getting 7-0'd 2 weeks in a row. They've had the roughest of rough games, roughest of starts, and they were the team that kept sneaking their way into every single major, every single final that they could. They never were the stars of it, but they always managed to participate. They always managed to get there. And now you know where they're getting? Me into just a pile of sadness, because I love VP, my favorite team in EUL, and I just don't know where they've gone wrong.
It's just tears all over the place. And you know what? I'm quite curious then to see which map they're going to have to face off against their opponents on. So how about we take a look at it? There it is. Team Secret versus Virtus.Pro, and VP will have the final choice. They will ban out Oregon and take us to Consulate, where Secret choose to start on the defense, which means VP will be on the attacking side. Does this spell disaster or not? How do you even rate Virtus.Pro in this time?
It concerns me, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
It concerns me for Virtus.Pro. I think
Sure.
even if it's a map that you're comfortable with, if you're not taking wins at any point in time, Consulate is not a place to play.
Don't mean to be rude, but they just played G2 on it and absolutely got decimated. Like, I'm being nice by saying decimated. There are other verbs out there that can really quantify what we mean by that. But yeah, it was shocking. You know, a VP have decided to get rid of Oregon, which I was looking at some of the map pool. Okay, fine, you can get rid of Oregon. It's not one you play very often. That's fine. But now you're going to Consulate where you just got slapped 7-1. Not sure what the mentality is, but there you go.
So what's the advantage here? VP are going to have a rough time. Secret, how are they going to play this one from your point of view?
Look, I mean, one thing I will say is that we've all predicted Secret to win. So there's a very good, very good chance for Virtus.Pro.
Exactly, it's the same story. We were not predicting Empire to win, and yet they came back. VP, are they in the same boat?
Team Secret need to keep 2 things happening, and that is Sleben doing what Sleben has been doing, because he's absolutely phenomenal so far.
Player.
And Packbull. Keep them 2 functioning the way they have, in and around each other. Keep Packbull making the calls, but somehow getting plants down, getting kills in. He's just covering all bases at the minute. If those 2 things continue happening, it's going to be very difficult.
I am incredibly excited for this map, because either VP have looked at the VOD, fixed the mistakes, or they are just going to repeat the roller coaster ride that goes absolutely nowhere for a VP fan and for all the VP fans out there. Let's hope for a better story.
Definitely so. That is our preparation here for a second match, ladies and gentlemen. Jess and Mr. Tim, it's so happy to see you.
I know, I can't believe he's real.
He's here.
Doesn't
Honestly,
feel real.
it's taken me so... I won't take any more time. It's taken so long to get here, and I'm so happy, genuinely, to be here, just working alongside you guys rather than online.
He's been sitting above us for an entire week waiting for him to actually come here to the studio, and here it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to toss it then to our casters. A Secret versus Virtus.Pro. We're going to go to Consulate for this one. We've got Happen M ready for you. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. First of all, I don't think Tim's real. I think he's fictional, and I'm yet to see him close up. Who knows? Second, Consulate. Not a great decision.
Maybe, maybe not, you know. There's many different theories of why it could have gone wrong against G2. Either way, they hopefully fix their mistakes and will be ready for what is to come. As Secret themselves definitely looking to be on a good one so far. 7-5 victory against Rogue, 7-3 victory against Na'Vi. That is 6 points currently. And they're leading the board. Of course, we're followed closely by Vitality, who have been taken down by the other Russian team. So who knows? Maybe this is Russian day.
Well, that's it. I think with the sort of split and the breakaway that we've had now across the top of the table, we've had Vitality stumble. We've got potentially Virtus.Pro as well, not just at the top of the table for Secret to put some distance, but Virtus.Pro could stumble at the bottom. They could find themselves a little bit more isolated if those bottom teams are able to start pulling their way up, and obviously it's the second split of 3, and it just puts you in a bit of a trickier situation here if they can't pull points, whereas other struggling teams are.
I was checking it a little bit earlier, but I believe, if I'm correct, and I know that's a bit of a thing today, Empire currently 12 points, Secret as well, overall, that is. Then Trainhard, then Virtus.Pro on 14.
It's dangerous.
It is very dangerous. A loss here today from Virtus.Pro could definitely spell trouble in the future if they don't manage to fix the mistakes. And as always, something you want to be a bit careful of. You want to make sure that you come into this stage and take as many points home as you possibly can. And preferably with a bit more than 2 rounds on the board overall, because that really hasn't been spelling too much good for them. Now, a big change here that we are seeing. No more Andreezy in the lineup. It will be WTG that is playing for Virtus.Pro. So they tried their analyst, who then turned 18, was allowed to be a player for 2 games, and now have decided, all right, there is no more time. We need to go back to what worked before, and WTG will be the one to do so. Come back in and replace the young analyst gunner. Now, we have seen this from Rogue, not the exact same thing, but we saw them swap a little bit in Stage 2 last year between 2 players. That didn't really go well. They ended the stage with a total of, let me count, 0 wins.
How long did that?
It was a very long
How long
count.
did that take you to count?
But yeah, so let's hope that it's not going to be the same case here for Virtus.Pro. Let's hope that the change back to WTG will bring them some success, or at least some potential they can work with for the remainder of the stage. Because Thursday, there's another Playday. So it needs to be good this week, otherwise you're losing out on a potential 6 points.
I think one of the things that we have to take into consideration as well is Virtus.Pro wanted to make changes because they needed to. It wasn't the situations that other teams had where they had to obviously do a last-minute replacement. They weren't at their strongest. They felt a little bit behind the pace that EU as a region was putting down, let alone the entire grander scene of Siege. And here, I think this is them sort of going, listen, we need low to mid-table because we can't suffer at the bottom of the table. If these other teams are starting to find a little bit of strength and we're going to get left behind, sure, we might be building towards the 3rd phase, but that's what teams like Vitality did throughout the opening phase. That's what teams like Trainhard were able to build during that first stage. It means that they're just going to keep getting stronger and stronger. And if you get left behind because of this sort of swing up in the gusto, I mean, it makes that final split very, very dangerous. It makes everything much more high cost. So go back to WTG, see if you can find some of those wins, those handfuls. As Pasha, a player who hasn't quite been able to have the impact, especially in the last game, is at least able to open this one up. And you hope, as a Virtus.Pro fan, you start to see him come alive a lot more.
Yeah, you really want him to have that big impact people know he can have. And Scomfy is worried about if Visa office is now being sprayed upon by the side of the building, the southern side. It's WTG in the meantime, though, that will repel in. We'll be able to spot out the, well, angle that was created by Comfy, who I believe is long gone already into the basement, trying to go for a full rotate, whilst Packbill also receiving some damage. So VP definitely keeping the pressure up. Flank drones and everything are being set up currently, and all the angles are being watched. And this is Consulate in a nutshell. Windows, windows, windows. So many repels up here.
Milan's able to double down, take care of Sleben across the connector, and that gives them a little bit more control above. Suicide isn't something that they're going to throw themselves onto as of yet. They're still sort of constructing themselves and trying to pull the push together, but another great take there. Packbull gets dropped, and that's it. I don't think they're aware. In the meantime, it doesn't make much of a difference. Gomfy is the last one left, the only one standing. They're digging their way across from admin towards the back of vending machines. Gomfy's been able to creep his way in, but without anything taken out of their push, without anything that's cleared for them as a mantle of safety, it's just pretty much impossible to try and drive their way back through. He's looking for maybe a body to pull out above. If he can retake a bit of vertical, it gives him some space. He doesn't quite see that swing round, and, well, the same way that we all predicted against them, they've entirely stood standing and taken every single player out.
When Empire won that game, I was like, well, rip the rest of the predictions. Only Kavana G2 has differing ones.
Yeah, as long as we all go down together, that's fine.
That it doesn't hurt anybody, except, well, except everybody. But
yeah, I mean, that's the selfish nature of this, is I will go to the bottom of the board as long as I drag all of you with me.
yeah, as it should be in competition.
We're such a friendly talent team.
Virtus.Pro managing with their renewed old lineup, you can almost say, because WTG used to, of course, be in the lineup in Stage 1 in the previous year, 2020. Made place for the young and up-and-comer of Andreezy, who didn't really have the impact that they might have hoped he'd had, because WTG has always been around the 1 mark. 1 rating, had his impact, carried his own weight, that was it. With that, he's a very reliable factor you can work on, and you changed it for Andreezy, who was still unproven. Now, I'm not trying to say it's a wrong mistake. It might have just not been the right time now, especially with how VP, of course, wasn't able to compete at the 6th Invitational due to unforeseen events. Now had to go back into EUL straight away. So that change, let's see if it will bring them more than what they have been able to accumulate over the past 2 play days, which is a total of 2 rounds. Well, already halfway there. Let's see if they're going to be able to improve much more on this, because that last round was basically picture perfect. They were able to pick up these kills from the windows, get the early engagements, and yet again, Pasha does so. Sleben will be taken out from the Visa window. With that, of course, you will have control of Visa if you would like to go there. Of course, given the fact that the site is inside of the garage, inside of the bottom floor, piano control will be very important.
Yeah, 2 different takes, 2 different bodies, and 2 quick removals at this point. Sleben's obviously gone. It means those claws, they're not massively played with anyway. It's a bit of a long arm hold in this situation, but at the same time, they're still not going anywhere. Gomfy suffers next. Hyph is droned out, and they can't quite catch it. It goes all the way down, gets way more intel than it really had any right to, and that does force them into a tricky situation. Doesn't want to try and head back up because Rask is watching it. They know that it's the start of the push here. They know that they're already digging their way across admin. It's a bit of a consistency with Virtus.Pro. They like to take admin and sort of go from there, and a lot of their holds, it's a pretty tried and true and tested method. And when you're going back to WTG, when you're going back to the roster that you had on the previous split, tried and true is generally going to be the MO. You're going to see if you can dig your way in through what carried you previously.
Quickly opening up these hatches, giving them an opportunity to rotate down the back if they feel like it. Making sure a push from the archives is coming in as Pasha right now. Holding off that bottom of the spiral stairs. There was a player there, might have been spotted out by a drone, and as he goes on a bit of a chase right now, hopes to go past the barbed wire, knows it's not going to be possible, and thus opens up into the bathroom because Gomfy is still playing here. Now, I'm not sure if the hatch is open up. I would assume so. He's going to be trying to go for a peek. However, no, it has to be. Oh, that's a double kill potentially with the grenade. No, just 1. There's still going to be a second player right on the back there. It's the Maestro that is dug in deep. There's no support coming down as the spiral stairs are being held off, and Keenan needs to hold on for his life.
Hyph's trying to offer some support, but he gets droned out. Keenan is entirely isolated. He is just going to try and dig in behind the wall. They went for what was an attempt at a solidly locked off play, but I mean, it's still just a dangerous moment. They have no idea if Keenan can be that bout of surprise. The Elder gets one, gets two, drives their way through. There's a third just on the doorway, but they pull away just in time as the wall gets popped open. Keenan retaking is a very big play here, trying to cement the last, but he can't quite find it. Milon is able to get a very important body back. In the meantime, we lost Hyphen, and, well, we follow up with a pack ball loss 2-0. And minus a bit of a surprise play in the antechamber there, it was just another Virtus.Pro round.
Of course, you didn't expect the second player to be that deep into the bathroom, especially not with the grenade that came in. You managed to get the kill on the man in the cubicle. You would assume it's clear, but it, of course, was not. Keenan able to come out into antechamber, able to get that double spray down on basically the entire soft breach department that was available for Virtus.Pro. Both the buck and the sledge were taken out, but at the same time, the wall has been opened up. The job was done. They did what they needed to do, which is enable the hard breach to open up and remove any anchors from these tough positions to clear, such as the back of White Van, such as the pillar. Now, as they did that, at the same time, they were able to hit the sites, and with that, of course, managed to get those final kills. That leaves Virtus.Pro now in a 2-round lead. That is the 2 rounds we were talking about. They now basically got just as many rounds as they were able in the last 2 play days. So this shows that VP, and with the manner that they did it, let's put it up like that, it wasn't a close win. No, this was just a blowout, both these rounds. Shows that there's a lot of potential for VP here to pick up some great points against Team Secret. Now, we are back in lobby press. Let's see if we will see a similar setup from VP as we saw before. Now, as you said, will probably originate from an admin take.
Yeah, it's a lot of their MO, it's a lot of their focus in terms of getting that anchor control on a map. It's something where I guess Secret, they're not trying to be competitive about it as of yet. Though, twice we've had this entry death, and twice it's been very quick against different players. We're not entirely sure. The third time, Pasha has been able to get that opener within pretty much the first 30 seconds every single time, twice against Sleben. This time it's the smoke that's gone. Hype at least is able to bite back before those bodies start to flow one way only, and it's just this sort of loss again from this, as you said, this window play. It's something you should expect from Consular. It's so quick, and Pasha keeps being able to punish them for it.
Could have been a double kill there if he wasn't that greedy, you can almost say, onto getting the kill. Saw the back of the Jaeger running away, but Hive turned around and got the kill in the end. And well, now you lost your nade player. Of course, still Yana left. Milon has to available to him, and with a player on the yellow stairs, as is quite usual here, you need to make sure that you have those grenades in pocket, but Hive is going to be able to take the second nade player down, and then we have a follow-up of Packbull as well. We'll be able to take down Rask, and that leaves only WTG and Kerzheka left on this board for VP.
It's the first time all game they've been able to have that man advantage, and they're making sure that they can keep that pressure and keep the punishment on. WTG, he's back in the roster. He's the last one standing in this round, and he's finding himself in a 4 versus 1 situation. Still a lot of utility on the board as well. There's still a lot of cost in those C4s, and there's only about a minute and a half, so you don't have the highest hopes. If he can try and find some isolation on this first firefight, he might be able to dig his way around. Then there's obviously Keenan is a bit isolated too, but that's driven towards the site. You've still got Vertical to take care of, but you're not even going to get there. They had the read, they had the take, and they wanted to make sure that they were able to push this round to its end and not just sort of let it peter out.
Good start from Virtus.Pro, but great comeback from Secret. Able to shut down Pasha, who of course tried to go for the second one. And then able to get Yana as well. Both the kills coming down from Hive, making sure that none of these grenades would be coming into use, coming into play. And with that, you have a little bit more freedom, able to dig in a little bit deeper. But with that, they also had that man advantage that they, of course, used so well. Able to really snowball on the back of that in that round and bringing us to 1-on-2. Secret on their first round, Virtus.Pro already having 2. And we're heading back to that basement. It was the site that we came to second in round number 2. Back then, it was also Virtus.Pro who won it. So let's see if 2 times the charm for Secret. I know that's not the saying, but
it's all right. Maybe it'll catch on. Maybe it's the new one. 2 times the charm. They're going to go with the heavy lock-in again. You're not going to probably have the surprise effect of the double bodies inside the bathroom. obviously they didn't set out. We saw Hive get pushed back, and they had to sort of try and find a bit of safety, and the only safe place that they could go without having to retreat all the way back to site was to join the Maestro. It might have been a little bit more of a success story if they'd gone to site, because it gives you that back line, it gives you that push, it gives you that late bit of presence, because as we've seen from Virtus.Pro, their pace from spawn to walls and spawn to windows has been very quick. They've made sure that they're in these positions to punish anything Secret does on their rotations in their own, which on Consular is so deadly.
I wonder if that is how Pasha got one of these entry kills, just spraying through a random window, hoping he would catch someone still on a rotation going up or down. However, this time, not within the first 30 seconds. So, Secret definitely learning from those mistakes, because it has been 3 times in a row now that Pasha was able to open up so very early on. It's really not something you want to have happen on you, as Hive now decides to go for a little bit of an excursion, putting down his last barbed wire and to take down a barricade for it, but those are easily replaced, especially with this much time left in the round and with VP nowhere near to try and punish you.
So, Secret, how do you start to reconstruct from the 1 round you got? I know you're sitting on the board, you've got 2 wins, and you've been able to get here pretty well. You're against Virtus.Pro, who are kind of on the opposite. In fact, you have as many wins as they have rounds. It's that sort of split where this, for you, was a game of expected win. This, for you, was a game where you could really put the distance in. Is that something, that effect, having a bit of a negative towards how you're bringing yourself into this? Rask, in the meantime, he's steadily trying to do the work to get rid of those claws. He's sort of waiting for somebody to swing around. There's only really 1 C4 currently in play. The others are keeping their eyes across the board to see if they can offer that to him, as Pasha and Rask, the double of that soft destruction, steadily clears its way through. It looks like Bathroom is entirely soft as well. They're just not going to bait that play. The first grenade misses. The second grenade misses. Pasha, great at entry. Unfortunately, not very good at threading the needle.
Yeah, twice there, not quite hitting the mark with those grenades, and with that, the Evil Eye will stay up for now, and that means that Slubben has an opportunity to gain a lot of information and maybe even stall a potential plant from Virtus.Pro to come through. Look at that, 50 seconds are on the clock. There's still, I believe, 3 smoke canisters on Packbull, who's currently on cams, just holding it. They have it. There's also Yokai drones available, and the Evil Eyes we've been talking about. Evil Eye gone through, by the way, in the meantime, but there's still plenty of utility for them to try and stall with. So this should be going the Team Secret way, you would say.
Pasha takes a fair bit of damage in the meantime. As you said, there's all this, and then there's Echo drones on top of that too. They're getting them close enough to cause some problems, but that one gets caught by Pasha, who, well, at least he can find the bullets through the bars at this point. He's pushed them all the way back to the backside of Kitchen, and here comes the attempt at the collapse. 15 seconds, the smokes go for the cover. They go for a bit of an off-plant, but there's a canister there, and that gets the down on Karzeka. Look at that drone. It's just going to pop up in a couple of seconds, get that defused. They know that Keenan's got the eyes on. There it goes. There's Packbull swinging with a shotgun. They need to try and stick it now, but you assume there it is. The pop-off, and Secret keep their way through to a second round.
There's no more cover there. The teammate was down. They were about to move in as the timer hit 0, and the Yokai drone was about to send out another sonic burst. And 2 times indeed the charm. Both sites they've been to twice. Both sites they won on their second attempt, and now will be forced to go through tertiary. Archive Stellars will be the choice of Secret, not choosing to go for that top floor for now. Might see that in round 6, but at the same time, of course, we will have a site reset at round 6, which then means they could potentially go back to lobby press if they feel like it. First, of course, Archive Stellars on the board. Seeing the castle being swapped out, or castle being swapped out for the MI. Sorry.
It's fine.
I need to keep track of my TH and my castle.
The
Otherwise Milo start. Yeah, that as well.
A water drinking game.
Water drinking game for me.
We only encourage drinking water.
And let me just grab a sip.
I wrote up the rules to a water drinking game for our cast team, and that was one of them. There was maybe I'll publish it one day when it's finished. 2-2. Virtus.Pro. You've lost 2 in a row, as we sort of saw it capitalize there on a bit of a late hold, bit of a late push and play there. There was still a lot of utility on the board. There was still a lot of danger on the board for that approach. Sure, you'd been able to get yourself in, but the difference there was what had been your thread into this map consistently was that entry stat, was that ability to get that first body down. It was slowed. The first person didn't fall until about 40 seconds left, and at that point, you're struggling. At that point, you're sort of trying to scrounge up. It might even have been late, even closer to the punch than that. And it's dangerous if you find yourself with a team fully kept up, especially in a site like that where you know they have this sort of backline. You know they have all this stuff to long arm towards your attempt on a plant.
Yeah, definitely so. And you also see that Pasha's not really being gifted any of these kills now, but Hive needs to make sure that he doesn't overstay his welcome. And the Nitro's being tossed out just a little bit too short. If it would have gone a little bit higher, it would have been able to pick up the double kill on Kurzheka and Rask. And now I'll be stuck in the copy room. The drones will be giving away some information. Actually, that was a Mozzie drone that Sleben managed to steal away. And that doesn't give away any of the information to Pasha, who is, of course, on that copy window, thinking about potentially throwing a grenade through to maybe take care of the mute jammer that's on the other side of that wall to finally let the drones come through to potentially get some information. Because in the meantime, WTG are ready inside of the administration office, and surely more will follow soon.
Getting control of the vertical here for this split site, it gives you quite a lot. You've seen some teams devise a large portion of their hold here, especially if sort of mirrors on the board as well. When she's gone, it's a lot tougher because you can't really put yourself in and around Printer. It becomes a much looser hold that you have to do across the back line of the top. As you see here, they've got the bodies on Spiral, they've got one on Yellow as well. They're sort of waiting for the firefight to come across this long table, and Pasha unfortunately finds himself on the wrong end of that entry statistic. First time, Packbull is the one that gets that kill. That's grenades gone, that's pressure and presence gone, but you also look, Sleben is the only one with the C4 still in pocket, where the others are just pre-placed. I haven't heard any go off yet, I don't think.
It is pre-placed, indeed. You see it on the left top of the overlay there is 0-1. So that, oh, actually, no, because then it would be, no, it is indeed in pocket. The one is pocket, the other one is exploded.
There's two exploded. Hive and Backball, both have them currently out, but I haven't heard them gone. Who knows? Also, the one reinforcement, save that for later. But they're waiting. I think one of the plays here as well is they've not brought the pulse on this site, which you often see from a lot of teams.
Yeah, and they're in now. They're trying to go for the plants. Kurzheka is in. He's on a desk, and Packbull should be aware of this. Is trying to go for a peek as well. The cover is there. However, Milan picks up that kill, but then I believe that is going to be the Melusi that runs in. Hive able to pick up one. Brings it back to a 3-3. Keenan now on that diffuser. Going for the counter diffuse right here. Hive needs to be sure that he has the cover, but he does not. Milan picks up that kill. He's now in a 1-on-3 clutch situation, which he will not win. It's going to be Milan with that final kill, and now we have, again, another round coming down for Virtus.Pro. And then the question is, are we going to see 2 times the charm complete for the 3rd time, or are we going to go back to lobby press, which it indeed seems to be the case?
Hey, let's see if they can bring it together. It can be a bit of a tricky site. It can be a bit of a tricky play to put yourself together. They're expressing themselves on Consulate. They're exploring all facets and all manners of the sort of sites and stuff. And, well, there was the Pulse I talked about, and there it's instantly gone. Again, Pulse can be a fantastic operator on that site too. He's just great on this map in general. In the right hands, though, that's the sort of asterisk that you always put together. Because, sure, he can be at his strongest on this map, but if you're a team that doesn't historically bring him, if you're a team that's not used to him, then it becomes a bit of a bird. You get a little bit blinkered by that intel on the basement.
And it's not just that, but like from the basement, you can basically see every wall, right? You can see where they're rappelling up. That's when it's most useful to try and find out where the push is going to be coming from. You see 5 people on admin, guaranteed they will be taking admin. That is going to be their choice. It's up to you then whether or not you want to contest that to try and act on that information, or if you want to bait them in to potentially use C4s from below. But that's the thing, you can have the information, you just need to do something with that information. And if you're not going to really do anything with it and are like, you know, maybe a mute, for example, is more useful, or Maestro, let's just run that instead. Those are a bit more focused on your actual hold. If you die, your presence is still there. Whereas with the Pulse, of course, the gadget is deployable, which if he dies is lost.
So the basement's hard reinforced as well. They're going to see if they can do some damage from underneath in Piano, potentially. They've got 2 C4s in pocket, ready to rock and roll here as they're sort of just trying to drift their intel around. That early removal of the shield, yet again, quick pressure towards those windows, towards Antechamber. It's Pasha who led this charge so well, successfully at the start of the game. Found himself not as pacey towards the end, but to be fair, it was that Kickstarter, and every time he's been able to get that entry, they have got themselves that round win. And then once, otherwise, unfortunately not. But still, it's a statistic you like. It's a statistic that we talked about where when they've been able to get these sort of first takes and first engagements, they've really found a bit of pace. But sometimes Virtus.Pro, if they're not able to get that situation, they'll leave their push very late. They almost caught Keenan out there and got that blow that they need.
That should be a rotation coming down from the grenade. I believe it was about to be tossed in from the yellow stairs window. Now I'm pretty sure they want to throw it in from the bathroom side of things to make sure that they're going to be able to continue and try and clear out that kill. There you have it. The grenade's being cooked. Will surely be followed up with, as you see, the SAM cams, which also get in. There you have the grenade. Keenan will drop. That is the entry yet again for Pasha. This time not within 30 seconds, but within 1 minute 30 itself. Milan manages to pick up one as well, and with that, it is definitely going to be Virtus.Pro heading into the end. Oh, beautiful shot with a big advantage here for Virtus.Pro in these last 70 seconds to try and attack the site.
Such a quick second take there. Pasha absolutely drove his way down the stairs. Gomfi, he's dropped the drone, but they just spray through because they know he's close enough, and they do that shoulder and shiver of damage. Packbull, he's eyeing the potential of putting some pressure out here from the yellow stairs. Might be able to strike somebody, but there's always that concern. As soon as you go outside, it's an expected sort of play outside. WTG is that loose player. He's about to drift in now, and he gets dropped, but in the meantime, he's the only one, and the intel is given away. Virtus.Pro 4-2 on their half. Now they're going to their defense, and it has been such an improved performance from them today.
It is such an improved performance indeed. And for a second there, I was afraid that Secret was going to be pulling back towards the basement. They, of course, had 2 nitro cells available to them, but I don't think there was any utility to give away information to guide these nitros into the right place. Of course, you could have still tossed them in blindly, but there's plenty of time left for VP to bait them both out, and just decided to go for a bit more of a horizontal approach there on the side of Secret. Didn't really work out. So Virtus.Pro leading the charge, leading with 2-4. And Secret now onto their attacks. 6 rounds they have to try and outdo Virtus.Pro, or at least match their performance to make sure an overtime will be underway. And as the Dokkaebi is being brought, that is an operator we haven't seen yet from this matchup today. And of course, it's great with a roam clear in mind. Also has the opportunity, of course, to hack the cams. Now, that is something we do not really see the impact of when we are in the spectator view, because, you know, it is hacked. So you can flick through it. That's it. But you gain that information. It's not something we actively see happen here, but I can guarantee you it happens quite often.
Virtus.Pro have momentum, they have energy, and now they have themselves their defensive half. But to be fair, on Consulate, that can sort of be a little bit hit and miss for some teams. It can be a bit tough to keep a handle on everything that's going on. It can be very tricky at times as well, as they've sort of demonstrated on their attacks that the setup from good attacking teams, the setup, a balance of, well, you feed them into this, and I've got this angle from this window across the floor, they're not going to know it. It's very easy to do if you're good at doing it. And now it's Team Secret's time to try and prove that they can be, because at the same time, if Virtus.Pro sort of dig their teeth in and they sort of find themselves clawed into certain corners, which is something that they can do on their day, it could be now that they have that energy, they have that momentum. And I mean, talking of Milan, 10-2.
Yeah, definitely stepping up big here. Also, by the way, like how Rask was running around with the launcher, with the crossbow there for the pass. He was like, bring me the drone. He's trying to hunt it in piano. Already had one, of course, so a bit of information will be going VP's way. Let's see how they will abuse or use that, as, of course, we will progress soon. I was going to say, Gomfi, are you going to be jumping in from there? I know it's a thing. He's not very successful often. It's just for the angle now, okay.
Yeah, tighter angle allows you to sort of push your way in, but look at the stone movement around the bottom of the stairs. Doesn't just see it, and they're spraying back up. The drone goes down, and that could have been very dangerous. The pre-placed and pre-cooked grenade. There's a reveal. There's a C4.
How did he get Sleben?
Pasha, who gets Sleben in the meantime. I think Sleben was trying to hold on to yellow window and offer that cover and that split, but couldn't quite be there in time. What a blow. They had the read on one of them. They were hoping they would fall.
It was in the window.
Into the trap of Gomfi, but well played, Pasha.
I think he was about to rappel in, as the gun is on the inside of the map of the yellow stairs. With that, he again picks up the entry kill. Keenan now will follow, entering these stairs. Rask has a drone there, so they are well aware of the fact that Keenan is in. So maybe we will see a bit of a flank coming out from Rask, who is still, of course, on that first floor, roaming around on empty chamber. Has the opportunity to use a nitro just like Pasha. We'll be tossing it up right there as well. Rask tossing it in. Keenan on the exact same spot. A member died before and is going to blow, but not do enough damage to actually get that kill, so we'll try and follow it up with a shotgun instead.
Well, they're sort of in two minds about what they want to try and take control of first. Keenan's very isolated here on the stairs. They don't have the presence beneath yet, but as Hife's able to take the first there and drop WTG, it gives them at least something to work with. That was over on the Visa side, the Visa stairs side at least, so you know, it's kind of flirting with the idea and the danger of all the different pushes and plays. There is still that body underneath CEO. They're waiting inside Piano, but there's a very quick strike. Hife finds Milan sort of a little bit sleeping there. Across the suicide Bauk. They're concerned about the run-up, but with the pressure being applied to Pasha, they have more concerning things to pay attention to underneath with a shotgun and attempt to see if they can find one more body as Packball goes to stick it in that far corner there. It's a little bit of an off push, but he's just able to make it happen as the reload comes through. It's a 3 versus 2. Though, and now it's a 3 versus 1. Suddenly everything's gone their way. Heavy fire all the way across long desk, and they were aware that someone was beneath before. They've both been scratched up. Keenan is doing a little better on the health. The reveal and the swing round on the body onto long desk leaves them in this 1 versus 1. Just has to find a scratch against the Maestro, and he does. Keenan comes through for Secret.
What a clutch there. I believe there was a 1v3 you managed to land, and it could have just been so different if the shotgun shells were a little bit more to the left, which unfortunately for Virtus.Pro was not the case. But Keenan with a great hold right there in the end, able to get the 1v3 clutch underway. Also took care of Pasha that was playing on the on the piano for a long while. He was supposed to make sure that the diffuser wasn't allowed to go in. The thermite was hit as soon as he repelled in by that shotgun blast, but as the MK14 of Dokkaebi started to put some pressure, he of course had to divide that attention, wasn't able to secure that kill in the end. With that, the planter goes down, and from there we have eventually Keenan to complete that loop to get that clutch.
Pasha having the entry 5 of the 7 rounds so far, 5 of the 7 kills that they've got is something that Virtus.Pro is definitely building behind.
Yeah.
Even then, obviously, the 2 of the rounds where he's been able to get it, they've still lost. It's still this sort of consistency that not only do we not see from Virtus.Pro in previous weeks and previous games, Pasha played one of his worst games just in the week before. To see that bit of a response and that resurgence, you know, I guess it's always the thing of we don't know the conversations that happened behind the scenes, the ones that obviously led to them going back to WTG. Is it this sort of breakdown of this confidence of reliance, of history, of playing? Is it something where they know that the pressure's on and they've got to try and throw themselves into these maps more aggressively? Because that pace is definitely something that if they keep a hold of that, they're being so well rewarded for it.
They are indeed. It was a tactical timeout, by the way, from Team Secret. Even though they just won the round, potentially due to the fact that it was almost brought back. It was a 3-on-3 post plant, quickly turned into a 1v3 post plant, which fortunately for them was won by Keenan. Otherwise, we would have been in a bit of a pickle, you could say, for Secret. A little bit.
A little pickle.
A little pickle. And as we go on, onto that replay here, able to pick up the first one. Now, I really like what Kershaka did. He dug in deep, decided to wait for his teammate to come up. It's just very unfortunate that Pasha was caught off with his gun down, sprinting in. Was not able to fire back, and well-tied angles held here by Keenan, able to, at the right moment, swing around, and with that, complete the clutch, complete the round win for Secret. You are now only 1 behind and look to go for a bit of a quick push, at least it looks like from here. First they need to open up though, and that means that Mute Jammers need to be taken care of. Flashbang will be tossed in to waste the ADS, and a grenade will surely follow from Gumfy, just to make sure that the ADS and, oh, that's the Electroclaw also gone. That is a very expensive Electroclaw, early used there. There's going to be another grenade surely to follow after. That one might catch it off.
Should just catch it off in the timings. There it is. Very well played by Rast. They saw the grenade come through, pulled it off, and threw it back down. It's always the danger, because if that grenade was cooked a little bit longer, then it would have been a kill onto them as well. Doesn't quite get that one. They stacked themselves, but that surprise is gone at this point. If they wanted to do anything behind this with pace, they don't quite have that anymore. They're going to have to slightly restructure. They drone deep. They're looking for any bodies that might have a body. The second drone goes through. They're trying to just get rid of it, and that's the Gun 6, making sure that that bubble is gone too. The body and piano above them is that danger. You can see Virtus.Pro's pulled anyone that they had on the top off. They're restructuring themselves. They're expecting this pace, and that was the thing. That was the cost that came through for them here. Secret lost that air of surprise, that air of let's dig in and dig deep. They have to reevaluate, but with what's been spent so far, now they're looking at a bit of a wider take. A minute 20, and they're eyeing the piano.
A lot of it was definitely set up to go for a very quick push through the door, or through the garage door there. However, unfortunately, weren't able to get it off in the second attempt. The second grenade to come through, had to use a third one. And with that, there's basically no pressure elsewhere. And still the drones are going very heavily onto the garage. We have upside down repels trying to give some cover. So I am not sold on the fact that Secret is not going to be going through with this plan. It looks like they're still going to be trying to push in. And as Pasha gets the first kill onto Secret, it's Gajeka to follow it up onto Gomfi. Rask will be able to pick up Hive. WTG grabs a kill onto Pagball. It's only up to Slebit now, who was supposed to give some cover up from the piano side. And as Pasha clears him out, it is going to be a flawless round from Virtus.Pro. Secret tried to go for a very quick round. They tried to push through the garage, but weren't able to open it quickly enough. And as a result, didn't have enough time to really go for a different take, so try to push on with it. Try to continue with the same plan they had before. And VP, they welcomed them into the meat grinder. Literally tore them all apart. Didn't really make it in more than any 6 or 7 meters.
That's another opening for Pasha. That's
Another
opening kill. And it's sort of that, you know, as I said, I highlighted it before, it was something that they were lacking before. The fact that this player's been able to step up so big, again, is that story. They restructured themselves very well, based around the time that they've been able to pull together from the rest of the push and from the rest of the control that had sort of happened, and the dance and that second Kaid claw being played and baited a little bit more was very, very well put together and very well played. And it sort of extended that Virtus.Pro control. It kept that pace into their favor. And you talk about pace, you're looking at the Ying now in the hands of Pagball, who's carrying the diffuser as well, carrying the kit. And I guess I'm looking at Secret trying to answer questions of pace, and they're trying to step into it. But so far, having that handle hasn't been so easy.
Definitely hasn't been. Virtus.Pro is now only a single round away of picking up the first point against the leaders currently inside of EUL. And even if they lose this, they'll stay on the lead for now. They weren't overtaken by Vitality, who lost to the Russian comrades of Virtus.Pro, be it Team Empire. Funny thing, every single caster predicted Secret and Vitality.
So that's all that these two teams needed. Was all
Let's
of
just
us
see if we can continue that trend.
Yeah. If any team needs a win, just we'll all predict against you, and then theoretically,
You should be good.
Should be good. And so far, Virtus.Pro, they've been very good. And as I said, it looks like Secret are trying to answer the questions. You can see, obviously, that they've met a little bit of a roadblock here, and they're still pushing. Gomfi not being able to really get themselves in. Sleben as well, these two big players that came into this roster and tried to offer something in the previous split, had some successes, and the growth of them now with the additions of Pagball and Keenan, it's unfortunately not quite hitting the mark on a map where you sort of need those big frag players, those duos, those explosive moments to really hit their mark. They haven't quite been able to find it, and it's in a way sometimes more expensive on a map like Consulate, where these pushes, these walls are so paper thin. As soon as something starts to fall apart, everything comes off the cart.
Now, Gorjeka aware of the fact, I don't know if he was wiggling no as well at the same time. Keenan in the meantime though, taking a bunch of damage from Piano. Just trying to go for a bit of an approach there, but quickly got punished for it. And yet again, we see Secret really with no control. We see Gomfi on top of the skyline, but that's about it. That's as far as into the building as they've managed to get, which is on top of that skyline. They're not in much further than that, and they're looking to go in for a repel in. Now, if they do so, there is still a player around Antechamber, around Piano, and definitely with these Candelas going off, is going to be rotating in beneath on Piano, making sure that a Nitro cell, for example, could be coming in big, or maybe some verticals instead.
Yeah, they have the vertical hold. They obviously still have Milan on the connector, who's just taken a shoulder of damage. They forced them further away. And that's it. They were sort of putting this pressure on you. As you said, Pasha down below. He's prepping something pretty dangerous. And the longer we have Secret here, the more dangerous it is for them. The canister pops off onto the windows. Means they can't get that quick flood in. There's a take on one. A great pick back by WTG. He was able to put some punish. But Sleben finally is able to bite his way into a round without being removed early on. They still have some ground. They have more of the Candelas. And as they flood their way through, you still expect some danger from beneath. There it is. Instantly, Pasha has that hop out, has that revenge, has a little bit of a walk to make. He's looking for the fight, and the fight drifts around. Gomfi gets himself at the bottom of the board and is able to find his first kill as well. But look at the time, look at the hold that you still have from Rusk. The C4 is still waiting. The second goes off. 2 rewards for 2 pretty standard punishments now. 2 versus 2. The pings are coming consistently. They want to try and drive their way through onto these firefights, but they're the ones that are lacking for time. Put some bullets into the Maestro, but he doesn't know the cover from the top of the spiral stairs. 6-3.
The jump out from Pasha was way more important than some of the people at home might be thinking. He jumped out not to get a kill there. Well, surely he was checking if someone was still in the rappel, but at the moment he jumps out, you are a target. You're literally putting a target on your back. They'll know exactly where you are, and he was being chased. You saw the man that was on the rappel came down to try and pick him up, because that is another secured kill in that case. But as a result, you didn't keep up the pressure that you were about to put down. He could have also rappelled in at the moment he jumped out, because no one was left in piano. You could have actually gone for a plant in that case and maybe even make it out alive. Especially if you have that cover coming up from bathroom, who would be able to provide you support as they would be crossing that hallway. But as a result, decided to go for the kill instead. With that, wasted a little bit of time. The bathroom player had to come in as there was little time left. Got blown up by a nitro cell himself as well. And with that, Virtus.Pro now secured themselves their first point of stage 2. And with that, also try and, well, elevate themselves a little bit in the overall standings, making sure that they will not be the ones at risk for relegation at the end or at the start of stage 3, because I know it's still early to talk about it, but it is something you need to mention, especially when a team has been having a little bit of a bad form, which you could say Virtus.Pro was having up until this moment, because now they're doing quite well. Even better than quite well. They've had a flawless round here. Their 2 attacks to start off the day were pretty good as well, you know, only picking up 1 or 2 deaths overall. I believe Pasha currently is on 5 or 6 entry kills now.
I think it's 5. It could be 6. There's 2 rounds where I didn't write it down because everything happened so quick. Well, I'm sure they'll have that on the desk, that statistic. I'm sure it's a conversation piece that's going to happen. But Secret, the conversation you've got to be having, and unfortunately you can't take your time out because you've already used it, is how do you pull back these 3 rounds? How do you push back against a Virtus.Pro team that has been just pretty consistent? Rask is steadily underneath. WTG, with those special spectacles, is making sure that they don't get this quick play and pace. They still have, obviously, the Candelas on the board, so they've got this response to them. They're hoping to punish them, and to be honest, the first one was a bit of a bait. The second one was where the push came through, but the C4, the utility response, has always been pretty solid. The danger here is obviously WTG. If you want to be that sort of blockade to the first push, you have to be the start of the first push. You have to be the man behind it.
He's playing the Warden as well, and it's a very smart pick considering the Ying was brought in the previous round and will be brought here again. Packpool's also repelled up, so who says that he's not just going to be throwing in these Candelas and trying to go for the repel in right after, because it looks like he might be doing so. As WTG manages to sneak past the window, knows one is close, able to put a lot of damage down into Sleben. Will be using the nitro cell, but it got shot out. Sleben wanted to throw in a grenade and will now be allowed to do so. Needs to make sure he angles that one right to try and pick up WTG, but fails to do so for now and goes into the rappel, but misses the opportunity of taking down WTG instead.
I think they expected him to go into the bathroom. There's Packpool taking the fight. As he said, he's in a dangerous situation. He's got to be that first push, but with bodies still above, the danger is far from cleared. There's one playing around to the backside of the stairs. Gomfi's going to see if he can creep his way up from the basement towards the back of Spiral and put some pressure on the backside of the lobby door. They're going for a bit of a flat push here. There's a response. There's a quick pick back up, and Virtus.Pro have that momentum back into their favor yet again. That backline came through, cut them off as they tried to go a little bit deep. It is just Hive left, yep, Kajeka cuts the head off one with an SMG with the diffuser cold on the other side, 50 seconds. They know well aware where you are. The default cam gave the game away. There's 3 different potential angles that you're already aware that they might be trying to find you on. They've set themselves up to be on the 3 different angles. 20 seconds has ticked by, you've been able to creep past one, but it's a shotgun that locks it off and punctuates Virtus.Pro, not only in this game, but most importantly on the board, finally with some points
Indeed. WTG comes back, you see it in the player cams how much it means. Everybody is hugging each other, giving each other the high fives, and as soon as he returns, they get the win. And they get it quite convincingly, I dare to say, as well. And I was going to say, like I said, Krzyzewka, but that was a shot we didn't see. But it was the quick peek of Pasha with the shotgun. Missed his shot, but right afterwards, it was Krzyzewka all the way at the top of the white stairs, or spiral stairs, able to get that shot in the back. And just a way more confident Virtus.Pro we saw here today. A way more team-like Virtus.Pro.
And it was the time they needed to do it. Sure, they're up against Secret, who are at the top of the board, but as they're looking at the bottom and they're looking at the success of Empire, it had to sort of come today. Let's throw it over to the desk and see what they have to say about it, though.
A happy day for our Russian teams today. Empire